Little Joe Bonamassa. Oh yeah, love the dude. Seen him right there at Red Rocks, and way to go, my man. And actually, I think we're going to go see him in August because life is back to normal, or so they say. Hello, everybody. How you doing? So good to see you all. Let me just speak favor over us all and hit that button. And we are ready to go. So happy hump day, and I hope everyone is having a good one. I think Nina has her show or hump day show, so check it out over there on her channel. And let me just speak BOSTO to all of us. Be of service to yourself and then to others, and speaking healing to all of us. We got a lot of healing, a lot of soul healing. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And happy birthday. So to all of you who are having one, hello, Deborah. How you doing, my dear? Good to see you, Scotty Boy and Kenneth. Thomas H. Good to see you. Robert V is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. We're not doing anything today, right? If I said I was going to do something, because I think I made a mistake. No, not tonight. But I think the third, we're going to do a little celebration for when Brian passed over and graduated. So over there on the Milky Way Soul Tribe channel, check it out. Hey, Isby, what's up? Lost in Space, David Castle. Greetings, brother. Beloved Abstract, great book reader and thinker of illusions. Yes, isn't it all true? This is an illusion. Reality is an illusion. And we're really going to get into a lot of what we're going to, I think, needs to be talked about. Um, so, binding spirits, loosening spirits. It's an interesting topic. It's one that's fascinated me all of my adult life. I have studied this, studied it, and studied it from so many different perspectives. And again, my introduction to the spirit realm was very early in life. And albeit in areas that some may agree and some may disagree as to how the introduction came to full manifestation, but nevertheless it did. So for me, the reality that we live in a world that is not occupied by humans alone. In fact, I would probably say, Rennie sent me something yesterday, an email with Andrew Britson, who said probably only 6% of the world population, and it's 6-7%, are actually were created in this quadrant of space. The vast majority of the population is not even from here. We come here, Earth has a uniqueness about it. It's not special. There are many throughout the universe, but the universe is big. And so Earth plays a major role, particularly in this quadrant. Cheers, everybody. Hey, Kent, what's up? I am the Maelstrom. Good to see you. And Dragon Soul Fox, hello. So, that being the case, we can then say, all right, if we're all not of the same origins, and that's hard for people to get around. We all humans think that we are the top of the pyramid, that we are the crowning jewel of creation, of our make-believe gods, and that somehow or another all the universe just needs to kiss our ass because we are it, brother, and there ain't anything else behind us. And that's the trap because it's anything but that. We live amongst many who do not have the same essence on the inside. Many of a whole different orientation of spirit being. And we're going to get into that. So I learned at an early age that there are entities that exist. And it really gets into the question, entities, spirit beings, what? Angels, demons, we can go on and on and on. What are they? I mean, that's the question. So, a little background for myself in my library, where I learned much of what I'm going to share today came from Christianity. And it's interesting because in Christianity, it's not Judaism, it's not Hebraic, it's not Aramaic, it's not Islamic, it's not Hindu. Christianity is a unique magic. It's a unique belief system. In my theology studies, one of the things that I found particularly interesting was the book of Mark in the Gospels. And the reason why I find it so interesting is that it's the one book that we're introduced to this being is a rabbi. Folks, it was never a Christ. Get that out of your head. The word Christos did not exist when this being supposedly walked. If anything, if the story, it would have been rabbi. But in any case, we're introduced to the supernatural being. Why? Well, because he's a hybrid. He's not human, he's part human, and he's part alien, Son of God kind of stuff, We're talking pretty serious stuff here now. But the interesting thing is that we're introduced to a whole new species. And the more that you read into this Gospel of Mark, and if you take it out of the religious context, folks, it's the most biggest science fiction. It blows your freaking mind when you really look at this, because we're introduced to a class of spirit beings known as demons. Now, demons do not exist in the Hebraic text of the word. And if you look at Christianity as a standalone religion construct, now we're introduced to another new being. First of all, we're introduced to the construct Father. That's alien. Now we're introduced to demons. And as you read through the Gospel of Mark, it gets weird, because we find out that demons can shapeshift. They can take possession of a human being. They can harm a human being. In fact, they can kill a human being. Wow. And it says every town, every village where this rabbi went, the very first thing he did was cast out demons. They call it today the deliverance ministry. So now you're trying to deal now the way that the religion goes, most the indoctrination and the inductees, they just simply accepted, okay, there's demons, all right. And in Jesus name. Well, the name Jesus never existed. So how would a demon be controlled by a name that did not exist 2,000 years ago, but yet today the demon's going to say, oh, it's Jesus? No. But anyway, let's stay on course here. We're in the shallow end of the pool right now. We're going to go to the deep end here in a little bit. So we find out that they're everywhere. I mean, everywhere this rabbi walked, there were demons. The demons would start prophesying. He would quiet them. The demons would start proclaiming. He would quiet them. He taught his disciples how to do spiritual warfare with these, whatever the hell they came from. They're supposedly in league with the devil, but we're never really clear on that. What we do know is that there's legions of them. Now, they're not the archons. They're not in the class of archangel, archon that would serve the other side. It's all a duality here. So in my library, I was looking today, one of the books that I studied at length, and still do, I use it as a reference book. This is Gustav Davidson's, let me get this up for everybody, A Dictionary of Angels, including the fallen angels. Okay, well, when we studied about the book of Og, King Og, we found out that humans, well, we're really down on the totem pole as far as spiritual beings are concerned. They eat us. They feed off of. Another cat that's really cool. I really like his writings, and you have to take it for what it's worth. But he did do a lot in his research. This is Stephen Quayle's book, The Angel Wars, Past, Present, and Future. And there's a metamorphic thing that takes place with these beings. So we have now this mystery. You can study the, by the way, the King James Bible is not the Bible. It's a knockoff of what was the original Bible, which was the Latin Vulgate. And there ain't no Jesus in that Latin Vulgate. I can tell you that right now. Anyway, excuse me. So we have this mystic named Paul, who I learned a lot from that cat. Paul brought a knowledge of this reality. We live in an illusion down here. This is strictly make-believe. There is a real taking place all around us. So I did, and then this, the whole subject really demands much more thought. For instance, who and what are spirits? Here's the thing. The vast majority of knowledge on this subject matter is completely polluted through the Kabbalah, Abrahamic, Christian pollution. Because each one of these mind melds, these mind traps, never really tell us where they really come from. Because, well, let's just take the fallen angels. There is so much confusion within the Christian community as to what the hell the fallen angels are. And then that has been transposed, what we would call in a topography type setting, where it's placed upon a reality that we think is real. But yet we never really find out who or what are spirits. Are they human? I mean, who are they? What are they? If they're here, why are they here? What are they? If they're not human, then they're alien. But what are they doing here? Why do they have this power? Why do they feed upon us? Because, listen, the only reason for a spirit to be here is to feed upon us. The paranormal is becoming a big deal. Why? Because our technology is now capturing. And what we now know is that not everybody goes to heaven. Not everybody goes to hell. There seems to be a hell of a lot of other ports of destination. And there seems to be a great deal of non-human spirits who lived in human bodies, who died, who are still here. We call them the shadow people. We call them all sorts of things. But this is what we do know. They're here. They exist. And apparently we are completely ignorant, for the most part, of why are they here. Why are children still here that have died? Why is their spirit, their essence is still here? Where is this place? Yeah, it gets a little weird, doesn't it? So here's the thing. Are these beings human? I mean, please explain that to me. I got the books here, and I know what Lilith has taught us. They're hers. Hers in the copulation of the convoluted serpent. Her through the copulation with Samuel, they produced billions, if not trillions, of offspring. Now, we don't like that idea because that puts us in a real disadvantage. So exactly what is a spirit? If it's not human, then what are we dealing with here? Now, we think that humans belong here on earth and that this is where we got our entry port of entry through the birthright, coming in through the veil of blood that brought us into this, what we would call the 3D density. Did we have a soul before we came in here? That's always up for debate. But it never says exactly what is a spirit. How can there be apparently different classes of spirits? Listen, if you believe in the concept of God and you want to worship something, why? Why would another spirit command, demand, or insist another spirit worship it? It gives a sense that there's a hierarchy that apparently we're not aware of. Which leads into the next question, where did they come from? I mean, we're dealing with abstracts. They're so ambiguous in their construct that they make no sense. You have to make the shit up as you go, and we do. Humans really make the shit up really big time in these religions today. And so if you can't answer where they came from, I mean, are they single dimension? Are they multi-dimension? Are they different planes? Or are they of a different construct, a different life form into the same matrix that we are in? And do they really have supernatural power, or do they merely have technology? Technology to a person, if we brought a smartphone back 200 years ago, you would be considered a god. And if you took technology back, that could actually, like a laser, wow, you'd be considered the son of God, Zeus, Eusus. So do spirits, ghosts just simply have technology? Are they using a cloaking technology? What's this? What's really going on here? How is it that some spirit beings can see what we call poltergeists or make full body apparitions? How is it that they can feed off of the electrical grid? Electromagnetic? I mean, what is this? So we're going to be talking about different classes of spirits. Y'all still following? So one of the terms we need to come to understand, because all of humanity is underneath this. The first thing is deposisms. So what is a deposism? It's the exercise of absolute power, especially in a cruel and oppressive way. I think you could say life on this planet is not easy. It's hard. And other synonyms of that would be tyranny, dictatorship, totalitarianism, authoritarianism, absolute rule. We live in an environment where either you absolutely worship one God or you're immediately assigned to worship the opposite of that God. Now, I learned this from Paul, the Apostle Paul. Now, for full disclosure on this, This comes from, give me 1 second. I'll hide that. There we go. The Bible. This is Ephesians 6:12. Now, I studied years on this one particular verse, tied it into many of the other. You see, Paul was a master wizard, a master magician, where he started his own religion. We call it Christianity today. Now, he gave some unique secrets away. Because remember, this is not Judaism. This is not where what I'm about to read, originated from. So where did it come from? Where did Paul get this knowledge? Because it's so detailed, you cannot help but not know. And by the way, Paul was an astral traveler. He wrote about it. So it says, for we are not wrestling or engaging in combat. Okay, whoa, stop. So if you're wrestling or you're engaging in combat, this is serious. With flesh and blood. But we are contending with only physical opponents. But we are in war. We are engaging in combat against the despotisms, the dimensional rulers of the heavenly realms, against powers of unseen beings, against the master spirits who are the world rulers of this present darkness, and against spirit forces of wickedness in the supernatural sphere, principalities, demonics, angelic rulers of kingdoms unknown or seen by man in the heavens. And I don't care if you're what religion, and hopefully you're not of any religion. Most of us here in this tribe, we don't accept any religion, but we're not fools either. All religions hold great knowledge, great power. This is probably, again, one of the most revealing aspects of this true reality. I mean, this is deep. So we have tyrannical rulers, absolute. We have dimensional rulers of the heavenly realms. That's multiple realms. Against powers, multiple, of unseen beings, multiple, against the master spirits. What the hell is a master spirit? Huh? Can anyone tell me? Yeah, it's deep, folks. These master spirits are the ones that I've been chasing after, the ones that I've been seeking to expose, because they've been here. Their lifespans are in the millions of years. They're here. Now, people think it's the New World Order, the families, the Rothschilds. I don't know about that. But what I do know that this man 2,000 years ago was writing this shit right here, man, and he was telling us something. And unfortunately, the ignorance of humanity is that we became so gullible in the way that they washed this down that it became absolutely like eating oatmeal that had been watered down milk. So against spirit forces of wickedness. Now, you define this out furthermore. This gives the whole reality of war. And I'm not talking a small war. I'm talking a war that engulfs the whole freaking universe. And get what he wrote here. In the supernatural sphere. Anyone want to define that? The supernatural sphere. And within this supernatural sphere, there are forces, spirit forces. Now, he doesn't define what the freak these spirit forces are. You have to dig this out. But what we do know in this true reality, this supernatural sphere, there are principalities. Now, principalities are clearly defining a hierarchy. And then we get this strange thing of demonic / angelic rulers of kingdoms unknown or seen by man in the heavens. Now, you have to define, what are the heavens? Was Paul talking about the terrestrial heaven? Was he talking about the terrestrial firmament? Was he talking about what we call outer space? What heavens? And not just one. So if you can grasp this, you see we're up against something that is virtually almost unimaginable. That's why people run to these religions, because it's a scary possibility. Now, here is a serious question. Can a spirit die? Yes. When you die and you take your essence, you can be forever destroyed. It's called the second death. Now, in all the New Age stuff that I've seen, the metaphysical community, etc., and everything that I've seen in here, no one talks about this second death. No, we like to talk about the reincarnation and the, and we're going to ascend. Really? How do you know that? We're obviously in a war that has been ongoing way before any of us came into the scene. So I told you this gets deep. I can already tell it by the thumbs down. People don't, this is heavy. And that's all right. It's actually a compliment to see that. But that's all right. They're having difficulty because this will cause cognitive dissonance. And if you take it out of the religious context, it is highly revealing. It shows the complexity of what we're dealing with here. This is not something that is just very simple. Now, I have another book that I want to share. And again, take out the religious connotations. Just listen to the revealing of another perspective. Again, it's within the framework of the Christian construct. But again, this is pretty insightful when you balance this against what I teach, particularly in invoking spirits. This is what magic is about. I'm not going to get caught up in the chat room because I'm sure it's very exciting. All right. So let's deal with a book that deals with binding and loosing spirits, breaking demonic walls. I love. Should demons manifest? Tongues and demons. Oh, this one really is. So curses. It talks about the fact that. I'll just read this to you. So take it out of the fact now. Curses. Now he writes, Christians walking in the knowledge and power of their spiritual authority are especially targeted for attention by the enemy. Well, let's just stop and do this from a, let's just say an agnostic point of view. So it's saying that if you have knowledge and power of your spiritual authority, you are going to get some attention. Now, I thought it was interesting. The reason why I'm reading this, because this is going to help someone, particularly who wrote me, and here's your answer. When curses are broken and spirits reversed to the ones who sent them, now they give a Psalms 109, reverberations are generated in the spirit world. causing witches to become more cautious. Isn't it very interesting? Because here you can see the battle is set up. And remember, it's all on the same line. It's just different poles. Demons returning to those who sent them can be vengeful, angry, vicious, and dangerous to the senders. Oh, really? High-level witches will scan the person on whom the curse are to be placed. Now, I don't know. I know a lot of witches. I do not know one witch who actually goes out and purposely curses anything. This is the problem. You see, they have to pollute the witch here. It's really the opposite. It's really the Christians who are the ones who curse. I know. I was one of those Christians that would curse all the time. Yeah. Anyway, get this. By communication with demons, what's that? Well, let me see. Are you praying? Did you pray to the Holy Spirit? Did you pray to Jesus? Did you pray to angels? Well, how is that any different than communicating with a demon? Oh, well, it's okay because it's in our religion and, God is holy. Yeah, okay. All right. In most cases, something in the intended victim allows him to fall into agreement with the curse. That is actually very true. In fact, that is really true. If you accept the curse, someone had the gall and audacity to write me and say, well, because you can't learn Hebrew or whatever, you're cursed. I don't think so. I ain't receiving that bullshit for a second. But anyway, this is how it works. I have met people who were convinced that they were cursed. You get them cleansed and they go right back to it. Now, I thought that this was real interesting because, again, they're going to make the witches and the wizards and the magicians the bad guys here, but that's all right. It says, for example, a woman whose parents were witches was hesitant to break a curse and send them back to the source for fear they were coming from her relatives in witchcraft. Actually, this was not true, but the woman underwent much torment until she finally broke the curse herself. Demons work hard in their destructive activities and use any means to prevent knowledgeable believers from using their highly effective weapons against the kingdom of darkness. But here's the problem, folks. The kingdom of light is the evil. Listen, I have challenged anyone to show me where Satan or Lucifer ever commanded one human to kill another human. I ask you, and I'll put money on this, show me where Lucifer in the Bible ever commanded one human to worship it. But I can show you the Christian, we don't even know what the hell the Christian God is. But if they're trying to say it's the Hebrew God, no, because that God's a vengeful son of a bitch. But we're trapped into this because now we think Satan, which Satan doesn't exist, but we've made it an avatar. And it also says that women are more susceptible to attack through curses and demonic visitations. Now, I want to get into his point on, I'm not going to read all of this, but he does have some pretty cool info. Dealing with curses. Isn't this interesting? Witches and those who practice black magic are afraid of a curse. That's an absolute lie. Coming back to them, for they know the power of them. Now, it's well known that if you're in the business of casting curses, it's a boomerang effect. So in this aspect, in the sentence, he's right. Anything that is sent out lies like a boomerang. It goes back to the one who sent it, and, well, I don't know, they will tremble. I mean, there's a consequence to it. But it's interesting. Now, he brings in something that is really interesting. He says, you need to know and stand firm in this knowledge and have no fear. Fear is a spirit. It's an actual spirit. And it has a lot of underlings underneath it. It says, unless we open the door by fear, we can be secure that most curses won't work anyway. Let me tell you, you don't need a make-believe name to protect you. If you can begin to understand who and what you are and your own authority, there is virtually no weapon formed against you that can prosper. That's what I'm trying to say. But let's get into here, because it gets into self-deliverance and binding and loosing spirits. Now let's read this and let's just see what kind of golden nuggets we can sift through. Demons can be imparted by the laying on of hands. Therefore, be careful who prays for you. You see, number one, that is true, but look at the context that it's wrapped in. It's the wrapper is all fear-based. Uh-oh, they're going to get you. Don't look under your bed, June. We're hiding there. You see? Goes on and says, while we are not to live in fear, oh, really? Then why the hell did you bring it up? Or apprehension, caution would lead us to pray to cover our body, mind, and spirit with the blood of Jesus Christ. Well, all right, here's the blood cult again. And I won't even get into this, but let me just tell you, in some of there is a part of conjuring, and it's even in the Liber Lilith, where blood is a vital part of the ritual. I would caution you not to go there. What is it that you're really looking for? That's the question. Yeah, I have the knowledge, but when I read it, my thing is all right, fine. I'm sure that this happens, but why? Why? There's nothing that there is in it for me. And anytime you make a deal with a spirit, remember, there's a reciprocity that is going to be expected. That's why I don't make deals with spirits. Yeah, they can make me rich. They can make me, I've had many of them that have come and said, this is what we do. And I acknowledged it. I said, you do it well. I've been doing it for a long time. But I know this. Wealth is nothing more than a mental construct. I'm already richer than any person could ever be on this planet. I don't need the physicality of a make-believe belief, and that's what it is. All money is make-believe. It's, well, we don't have it here, but if it says 100 on the paper, you think it's $100, and so does everyone else. That's the spell. Amazing, isn't it? He says that we're in an all-out war. Well, he's right. With many pitfalls and hurtful attacks. He's right. Now, he goes on, talks about the scriptures admonish us to walk soberly and vigilant. Yeah, well, wish they'd practice what they preach. It says, in these dark days of the unleashed supernatural powers. Now, why is it these dark days? Why is it this day? I can tell you they've been here all along. I mean, isn't that what all the books on the occult is? Right? It says, but none but supernaturally empowered believers will be able to stand. Whoa. Well, if you're now making it a condition that only supernaturally empowered believers will be able to stand, let me tell you, you've got a problem with most religions, because they'll look at the supernatural as evil. Rigid, legalistic dogmas, quoting proof texts, or loud emotional outbursts of attacks or praise will be equally ineffective to stop the fury of the end-time darkness. Whoa. If I was writing a movie script, wouldn't this? Oh, yeah, they've already done it over and over and over and over again. But yet it's true. I mean, we have ended an age and we're transmuting into a new age. I guess, from a certain perspective, if you've been in control in this old age, this would be the end time for you. It would be very dark. For the rest of us, it's the dawn of a new day. We're not going in to the midnight of darkness. We're emerging out of the darkness. The world in itself has been in a dark age for well over the last 10,000 years. We've only had rare glimpses of periods of enlightenment. So he goes on to say, only those with knowledge, I'll put this because believers, I'm going to scratch that out, and I'm going to say only those armed with this knowledge and the practice in using supernatural power in their everyday lives will be able to cope with the tides of wickedness sweeping the world. Now, you know what, folks? Let's just reverse this. What he is saying that you need to start conjuring your own magic. You need to begin to practice your own magic. Supernatural powers? And apparently this is what our opponents are well versed in. They know we can obtain these supernatural powers. But he's right. He says, unfortunately, most people are woefully ignorant and living far, far beneath their birthright. I agree with that. So I want to bring in where he actually brings in his point of how you can, it is vital for us to learn to exercise authority. Now, ladies and gentlemen, every one of us have authority. When I see a energy that comes through my house, and if I sense that there is even a smidgen of negativity, I will speak in my name, Robert Wayne Steiger. My name has authority. My name is a weapon. Because you see, the spirit isn't going to tell me its name, because immediately when I know it, now I'm going to bind it. So when you learn to exercise your authority to bind evil spirits and also to loose the spirits, this becomes exciting. It's not complicated. Now here he talks about a prayer. So let's just look at this and see how we could use it for ourselves. I take authority over the spirits of, name them. Isn't that interesting? In name of person. Now you don't need the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's just bullshit. Listen, there was no Jesus Christ. It's a made-up name. Didn't come around until about 1614, 1615, when the Dutch when they made the mistake on the first printing press, but second one actually. Because if you look at the original 1614 version of the King James Bible, you will see it says Eusus. Now, maybe if I spoke in the name of Eusus, very well may have some pretty powerful, but here's the deal. Here's the real dichotomy of this conversation. I have cast demons out in the name of Jesus. I've laid my hands on people and seen them be raised off the sickbed in the name of Jesus. You know why it worked? Because I believed it would work. And that belief is like a shield. If you believe in your absolute authority, your sovereignty, it's a shield. There are many spirit beings in the dimensions around us who cannot perceive past that. What they literally see, many times they won't even see you. It's really an amazing thing that you can do using this kind of this cloak of invincibility, of invisibility. It is an invincibility as well. And again, he says, command them to be bound. By binding, he says, I mean, you are not to manifest in any way before you come out in deliverance. Now, the rabbi said this, whatever you bind in heaven is bound on earth. Whatever you loose in heaven is loose on earth. To loose spirits. Now, isn't it interesting they put in angels, small a? Well, that could also be the divine ones. And look at this. Father, I ask you, blah, 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 to send spirits. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. To send spirits of, name the ones desired, to hinder and stop the work of the enemy in the name of the person. Okay, all right. Let's dissect this a second. So this is a person who is in the military war, because now it's asking this divine supreme being to now loose spirits under my control and to hinder and stop the work of the enemy. All right, if you're going to hinder or stop the work of the enemy, typically the enemy is going to fight back. So you see how this is amazing, because you can see they're playing us from both ends. But it does work. If you've ever read the Lesser Keys of Solomon in doing sigil work, you understand that you empower your sigil. I've taught you how to make servitors. It's the same thing. Isn't this interesting how he writes? Now, there is great knowledge here, folks. And if you use this and get out of the religious construct, you don't need it. This is knowledge. It's just been wrapped in a different package. Another interesting variation of binding and loosing, which has proved effective, is to bind evil and negative thoughts in yourself and other people. Specific edifying and positive spirits can be released at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had so many nasty emails of Christians who've telling me that I'm going to hell and teaching people, you're teaching people how to conjure spirits and how to be in communication with spirits, you're nothing of the blah, blah, blah. But yet, how do you defend this? How is this any different? I mean, the thing is, how can you have a spirit that's been around for who knows how long? What'd they do? Convert on the other side? Is there somehow this an induction center that, all right, calling all spirits, you now have to choose. You're going to have to choose either the Christianity or, what? I mean, why would a spirit be even remotely under a control of a made-up name? I don't know. It says, look at this. When you attempt to bind and box demons in order to stop deliverance proceeding, they will resist. However, determined commands to be bound in Jesus' name will eventually prevail. Well, there's another point of view on this. Maybe they're messing with you. They are tricksters. They do have a sense of humor, sick sometimes, but yeah, pranksters. Not saying, I mean, and if these are not human spirits, then what the hell, why would they be even, come on. I mean, you bring this thing out. It says, in battling evil spirits, keep up a barrage so they can get no rest. You can loose angels to spin their minds around and around so that the spirits cannot think and become confused. Another way to discomfort the enemy is to ask the angel of the Lord to chase and harass them. Now, now we're getting into the sublime here. I mean, because if you go down this quarter, it's kind of like pissing in the wind. It's going to come back in your face. I mean, but anyway, this guy says, I often ask the angels to bruise, crush, and flatten the heads of the serpentine spirits and to snip off the tails of the scorpion spirits. Now we're getting into animalism. Well, I can, all right. Animalism is it's a belief system. Animals do have spirits. I don't think they're choosing sides on the other side. Let's see. He gets into a little more. Next, tell all the little spirits inside who are already programmed to destroy that there are traitors in the camp and they must attack them and throw them out. Well, now what are we dealing with? Are we just dealing with very simplistic idiocy here of these lesser spirits? I mean, this is what's being implied here. Okay. They are, of course, chained and have no signs on their heads. That's interesting. Sometimes it takes a lot of prodding, but often the bigger demons are savagely attacked and thrown out while they are bound and helpless. This is because believers take authority. Well, I'm going to end it right there because I happen to think that he's right. I mean, it really comes down to the authority issue. And you're not going to find this stuff taught everywhere. Now, this is why we have a small, intimate group. Someone says, well, don't you want, hundreds of thousands of subscribers? No, I really don't. I like our little group. It's fun. Hey, Jenny, how are you doing, my dear? I saw your email. Beautiful. So the construct as we go forward tomorrow in finding out now, we're going to get it from an Islamic point of view, how they see binding and loosing of the spirit beings. So within that construct alone, we know that there is a knowledge that gives substance to this binding and loosing. The main problem, I'm telling you what you have right now. I'm going to tell you what your problem is. You don't believe in your authority. You absolutely are completely devoid of any power. Oh, you want to, play the games, but until you absolutely know that you are in complete authority and that no spirit would dare even test your authority. I've taught you this and I'll teach it again. There is a place in these realms. It's the nothingness. It's my term. It exists. It is a place where spirit beings go that it brings mortal fear. It's considered to be almost close to the second death. And oddly enough, you have that authority. You can literally cast them in to that place. And you can bind them. Now, we're going to get further into this study. There is a certain advantage of having spirits at your command. You can get good enough where you'll have legions of them. But they respect authority more than they do the spells, more than they do in being sent out or coming in. And I believe that in the spirit realm, respect is always earned and cowardice is always rebuffed. And I'm not going into the spirit realm as a coward. If some goddamn shadow figure wants to manifest, I'm going to run myself through it. It's got no business to be anywhere near me. And that's how I take it. Folks, I'm telling you, it's not this place where you have angels playing on harps and cotton candy clouds. It's a war. It's a battle. And if reincarnation does exist, then that is all the evidence one needs to validate the war. Now, I don't know this full ascension construct. Maybe there is valor, and maybe there is yet a higher option. And that is that we don't participate at all. But I got a sense that it doesn't work that way. Did I see Ryder Lee in the chat room? So I know that this is deep, and we're going to continue to get deeper into it. Gary Baxter says, yeah, crank on your love light. Yeah. But the first thing we have to understand, I think, in this way as well, is that there are those spirit entities that can rebuff love. Remember, you're just one power source. And until you really understand your power and your authority and begin to take that power and authority and start using it. See, I don't see this discussed in other channels. I look for this. No one talks about the authority. Now, I spent nearly 40 years in the Kenneth Copeland organization. I know about authority. We were taught, it was drilled into us. I knew my authority. I still do. That's the beautiful thing about it. And I have been enough in the battle on the front lines of this warfare. I'm now beginning to realize that many of the spirit beings I was engaging in falsely. They were not there to harm me. They were not there to hold me back. And those are some of the regrets I have. But people do things in ignorance that they don't realize. And though we're teaching about binding and loosing, there is this place where you can get to where you understand your authority. And you have to understand that there are many spirits of different origins, different purposes, different paths. And some are not always going to be what we would consider to be good. But then again, they look at us and they're not. I got the same thing to say about us. It's like that. The one entity I met, and I said, I said, your figure is very disturbing to me. And I don't know if it was male or female, but I know it simply answered back and it says, that's exactly how you look to us. And I went, okay, fine. And I guess where I'm really going with this is this. I believe that if they can't make a truce over there, maybe a group of enlightened soul tribe members can emerge on the other side and say, hey, it's time for a peace treaty. We can bring all the implements that we need. But my question in studying all this over the many decades is that why hasn't there been this peace treaty? This supposed blood cult with, Jesus on the stick thing, it didn't work. I mean, so, and all the rest of the religions, I mean, come on, they just didn't work. So that tells me we ought to go in a different direction. Yeah, that's what we ought to do. Well, thank you, Soul Tribe. They do, Monkey Experiment. They do. That's where all these spirit beings get their authority. It's from us. I mean, they're coming with the straws to the banquet table, and we're on the banquet table. Like, oh yeah, this one's pretty strong over here. Yeah, I like this one over. Yeah. That's all I got to say. Well, thank you for the thumbs up, the ones that are in there. A roach clip. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I only wonder, it's that whole question, why do spirits always have clothes on? Okay. Then my next question is, okay, so do they eat? Do they party? I mean, they have to party. Oh, yeah, I look at it. I mean, I've been in some festivals where, the spirits were dancing too. So I guess everybody likes a party. Big Al, much love to you, brother. You're more than welcome. Big Al's got all the cards. Order them cards. I know David Berry has it on his channel, on the Crystal Network as well. Well, thank you, Shannon. Yeah, I do. I get a little intense. I do. But hey, listen, never doubt the stimulation of eccentricity. That's all I got to say. And we share knowledge here, and it's fun. It is. And you're right, Jenny. They do party hard. I would agree. And Kent, I'm right there. I mean, I have a sense that our friend Brian is over there partying. And I bet you that the music sounds really good. Doesn't have to go through all this density. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it, my friend. And Brenda, all the way. All right, folks. Much love to you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Check out Nina the Mystic. She has her show on today. I think the hump day. Ryder Lee, want to get you back on, brother. I see that you're in there. Love to get you back on. Okay, folks. All right. See you tomorrow. We'll pick up from this. I'll guarantee you by the time we get done with this, there are going to be some people that are going to be graduating. Yep. And to our friend down in Guatemala, your answer is this. I'm just going to tell you this. You need to take the authority of your children's room, particularly your daughter's room. And I'm going to tell you what you need to do is you need to literally physically lay your hands on the walls and speak your authority and bind that spirit from harassing her. And I know why they're there bothering her. And this is a way you can change this. And in fact, you can change it from never entering your house at all. So there you go. That works. So it's 1 o'clock. So it's at 2. Yeah, 1 p.m. would be 2 p.m. All right. Think I got the message out there, Nina. All right, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Be good to yourselves.